You are the sum total of your thoughts. Every single decision, every single value you own, it's the collective total of everything you've done in your life. Everything you own, that owns you. Everything you've done, your memories, false or true. All you can do is take what you're given and do what you want. What you want may not always be what's best for the future you. However, you get to make that choice. Nobody can live your life. Nobody has to live with the decisions that you make but you. You are the only one that can fuck it up, but you're also the only one that can make it right. If you know you've been living not how you want to, or if you feel like you're stuck, addiction's a real thing. It is in our biology sometimes. It's a mindset. It's a disease, some people call it, but no, it's a habit of thinking. And you'll come to find more as we talk about it that everything is a habit. Thinking, feeling, dressing, eating, everything, talking, the way you talk, the way you blink, the rate at which you move your air in your body, consciously or subconsciously, is a habit. And that is dependent upon the history of your being. If you don't realize this, you will call it fate. It's like Jung said, if you don't make the unconscious conscious, it will rule you and you will call it fate. So do you want to be ruled? No. No. You're not sheep, are you? You're not some lamb to slaughter. You have so much potential. Act like it. Every single minute you pick up your phone, that is a choice. It is purposely designed that way to be as addicting as possible. If you make an action so easy to do, less than 20 seconds, I think. If it takes more than 20 seconds, you're probably not going to want to do it, or else you're going to feel the resistance it takes to do the habit. And when we feel that resistance, we tend to take the path of least resistance, which is scrolling on our phone, and we'll get the max amount of dopamine. You see, some people, I don't think they understand what dopamine is. They think it's just a feel-good chemical, and it is. That's part of it. It makes you feel good, but it's also the driving chemical behind why we do certain things. It's serotonin more that is the happiness chemical we get from everyday things. Dopamine is our driving force. So if you take a cookie, for example, you will take a bite of that. The max amount of dopamine you can get from that cookie was not when you're biting it, it was not after you're done, it was the moment before it hit your lips. That was the max amount of dopamine that scientists recorded when getting something that you really, really wanted. And so that's what it is. It's want. It's desire. We are hard coded for desire. You can't get rid of it. We can change our perspective. That's the thing. That's the thing that will change your life. And until you make that unconscious decision for your driving factors and why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I chasing this? Just for some chemical drug in my brain telling me I want more, I want more. Because that's the nature of dopamine. It always wants more. And every time you do a habit, you get less dopamine from it. So that's why drugs they can be pretty dangerous. Yeah, that's where addiction comes into play, because you need more and more of that substance to get the same amount of dopamine in your brain. So if you smoke marijuana, you can take a tiny puff your first time and it'll be magical. But that puff will need to be 7 times more the next day, next week. And then it's like, that's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you that drugs feel amazing. They just say don't do it. But to have the kind of life you want, do you really want to be just feeling good when you don't need to be, or when you're not supposed to be? I heard this quote by Alex Hormozi, how guilt and shame are 2 different things. They're similar, but they're 2 different things. Guilt is personal. Shame is more social. So if you're gay and you're raised in a religious community, you're going to feel shame even though it's your truth to feel like that. But if you're in a, say, more progressive environment, you're not going to feel guilty if you're gay, because it's like, you're not going to feel the shame that others are casting upon you. I misspoke. Guilty would be if you broke one of your own rules. So if you were in the closet, you might feel guilty about doing that. To be true to one's own self. To know oneself and to act in alignment with the self that you desire and aspire to be. That's how you reward yourself. That's the reward of doing the consistent actions every single day. Because that's what discipline is. It's not a punishment. As people say, oh, he needs to be disciplined, like, they're really saying, you don't love your future self enough to do what it takes to be better than where you are now. Because if you're not growing, you're stagnating. And over time, you just go down. So you either grow or you stagnate. But over time, everyone else is growing, but you just keep staying the same. So it's in relation to that, to going up, you're getting worse. And like, you know, people who stay the same their entire lives. It's like day in and day out. You wake up, go to your job, answer to your boss, and they just take it, because that's all they know. But people don't know another way. So I'm here to tell you, there's another way. You see, humans can imagine almost anything. And the problem is, they can create it. So if it's not good, relative, then, like, you could literally trade someone's life for a piece of paper. That's insane. Their hopes and dreams, you can get them to not do whatever they want for just a piece of paper. And not even that anymore. It's just it's just a number on a screen. It's not real. Nothing's real. I like to say I had a conversation recently about how nothing matters but what we make matter. Reflect on that. Tell me what you think. Comments below. I'd love to talk to you guys. Bye.